Hello everyone, I am Mulbre and welcome to First Class Escape the Train of Thought. We are still stuck on the train, but we should be on chapter 3 now. So we got through the tutorial, we got through the first car, which was... oh gosh, what was that puzzle? I think that was the one where that was the tutorial, because then the next car was books. And then after that was the dining car. Yeah, okay, so it did go tutorial, books, dining car. So now we're on to number 3. And I am prepared this time. I have my notebook already set up to go. And we're lagging right off the bat. Yeah. Yeah, I do need to find where my other camera, my other Logi camera went. That way I can show my... I've always wanted to show my notes while doing this stuff. So, okay, hold on a second. Locked? Oh, did I do the wrong puzzle? Did I actually get further than this? Locked. Or is this the way I came from? Oh, I think this is the way I came from. Okay. Okay. So this is the next puzzle. So we have room 04. Alright, now that I've dusted off the rest, we need to first figure out where we're going and what we need to do, what the goal here is. And ultimately the goal is to get, I guess, to the front of the train. Alright, so this is the door that's locked, and it has an interesting combination. So it looks like it's not alphabetical, and each dial seems to have, I think, the same letters. So we're forming either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, either 6 two-letter combinations or 2 6-letter long words. Oh, there's stuff behind us. Alright, let's check this out. I finally got around to installing that new lock with the keypad. Since Arthur didn't tell me what I should set the code to, I just set it to 7654321. If the code needs to actually be a secret, then all you need to do is just come and ask me and I can change it to something else. Frank. Frank is the guy who set up that really annoying safe thing at the very beginning. And then we had another note concerning the delivery of food and drink to passenger cabins. Generally speaking, when a passenger requests something, you are not expected to deliver the food yourself. Instead, the correct thing to do is to ask one of the waiters to handle the delivery. The only exception is when no waiters are available, or when the only waiter available is Steve, in which case you just handle it yourself. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting that they would feel the need to say that. I wonder if we're going to dig up some dirt. Or at least gossip. Some tea. Would it be pour some tea? I think we're going to pour some tea. To our new employees, sometimes our guests might have some unusual requests. So if you are ever faced with a request you are unsure about, please talk to Arthur about it. Furthermore, you are generally expected to consult him concerning any problems you might face while working here. However, if there is something urgent and Arthur is indisposed at the moment, then you should bring the matter directly to me. H.W. Hirschfeld. Hirschfeld? Oh. Okay, that sounds concerning. I mean, if you combine this, you know, unusual requests usually means something insidious, whatever the word is. Combine it with this, basically saying that don't deliver stuff to passengers, have one of the waiters do it. That's kind of cause for concern. And it makes you wonder what some of these passengers are on. Alright, so 9 is locked. Oh, 8 is locked. Alright, let's check the door here real quick. On there, because they tricked us last time. There was stuff on the door. Alright, I guess this is a ringer. We have a hanging clasp purse, 2 pairs of shoes, and both shoes are heeled. Whatever that means. Means anything. Oh. Can I take your stuff? I can't zoom in on it though. But your trunk, your chest, your suitcase. Oh. Oh my, that has a big cutout. Anything in here? We are also trying to keep an eye out for collectibles. So 2 pairs of shoes and 2 dresses. Bit of a nightstand situation. A letter that doesn't concern me. A wine cabinet. Oh, that's interesting. So the wine and the cups go in there. That's cool. Open and close the doors. That's fun. I'm like, this is a perfect place for them to hide a deer statue. Alright, let's look at the thing we're supposed to look at. Dear sister, thank you for your kind words. I assure you I am in high spirits despite the few setbacks I have experienced during my journey. I look forward to seeing you again once I return in a few weeks. I will be sure to give your best wishes to Aunt Rose. Please give my best regards to everyone. Yours faithfully, Mary. So Mary has had a few setbacks, and she penned a letter to her sister, but she has not sent the letter to her sister. But we know that Mary is in room 8. Whatever that means. So we'll write that down. Room 7. Oh, room 7 is available. And I'll assume based on the shoes, this is a gentleman. I have a book open. The lady staying in the room next to mine, Miss Roscoe, seems to be a pretty interesting woman. So the room next to his seems to be a pretty interesting woman. I talked to her today, and from what I gathered, she seems to be traveling alone. I did not want to be impolite, so I did not barrage her with too many questions about the purpose of her journey, but from what I understood, she seems to be traveling to meet a relative of hers, or something similar. 4/2/1934. Harry invited me to a drinking party he and Lord MK are planning on having tomorrow. I wonder how many others are joining us. Also, I'm not entirely sure why, but there is like a weird text change, like font change. So Harry and everything else is the same font, but invited is a different font. And I'm not entirely... There's also like weird gaps on either side. My suitcase is missing, probably stolen by one of the other passengers while I was out drinking last night. Fortunately, the train manager seems like a competent fellow who can sort out this type of matters, so I am not too worried. It looks like this took course over 3 days. So he met Miss Roscoe on the 13th, got invited to a party on the 14th, and had his suitcase stolen on the 16th. So the party was on the 15th. But Harry and MK invited him to a party. So we know that there was a man in his room. And we need to look for Harry and MK, because they might know what his name... I mean, they're definitely going to know what his name was. And I feel like that is important. We're being led to find these names. Dear Mr. Everly, we sincerely apologize for the disappearance of your suitcase, and we assure you that we are currently performing an in-depth search to locate it. Unfortunately, as our passengers' privacy is of utmost importance, we cannot perform the search as efficiently as we otherwise might. So I must ask you for some patience concerning this matter. Sincerely, Arthur Burke, train manager. Alright, so we know that room 7 is Mr. Everly. And we know that Arthur Burke is the train manager, so we'll actually take note of that as well. Burke. Because out of everything we've found so far, it's all been to share names. Alright, and there's a staff only, but it's a keypad. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, that worked. Interesting. So we have more twine. There is a note here which we'll read in a second. Oh, a couple of keys. The key to cabin 6 and the key to cabin 9. Alright, so we got 6 and 9 and 3 keys were already taken. So, Lord MK has once again come up with another nonsense idea and has decided to change the lock at the end of the passenger section to a new combination lock. To open it, you must enter the initials of current passengers, starting with the initials of the person staying in room 9 at the top and proceeding downwards in order. No, I don't know where he keeps getting these ideas, but it's our job to deal with his nonsense regardless. Fortunately, the door should be kept unlocked most of the time, so we most likely won't need to mess with the lock. Oh my gosh. So we do need the names. Okay. Okay. Yay. I'm kind of proud of myself for picking up on that. I was like, this episode, this adventure being trapped on a train, I'm gonna get this. And okay. So I'm gonna write that down. So to open it, you need to enter the initials starting with the initials of the person staying in room 9. But we know that Mary, so MR is the second combo. And we're gonna go get that name. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter as long as I know that his name begins with an H. We just need to figure out which room he's in. Or Harry could be the guy who does the who set the combination to 1, 2, 3, 4. We did get some keys. We got 9, so let's go to room 9 and room 6. Perfect. There's nothing on the back of the door. Okay. This looks like a gentleman's room. This is such a nice dresser. Knock down hanger. He's got some vests. Vests look so good on a man, honestly. Actually, vests really just look good on everyone. So this is number 9. I ran into Miss Shelley today. Turns out she happened to be on this train too. Evidently she got married since we last met or something. Unfortunately, I was a bit busy, so we didn't have too much time to talk. I was chatting with Arthur today, and he told me something quite interesting. It seems that there has been a theft of some kind on the train, and he has been tasked with solving it. Poor guy. I can't imagine that he's going to have an easy time since most passengers on this train seem to be quite strict about their privacy. So we know that there is a Miss Shelley, and that is going to be a first name. And we know that she is not room 9. And we obviously know she's not 8 or 7. And then Arthur is the train manager. But we can assume that he is not this isn't the guy who stole the suitcase. I mean, nobody signs a journal, but well, actually, I guess it is pretty standard to sign a journal, but it's usually like in the front where you'll write something like this book belongs to blank. Ah, there's something down here. I have a meeting tomorrow with Lord MK and one of his friends. According to Lord MK, this friend of his and I have some shared business interests we should talk about. I'm not expecting much out of this meeting, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. So he has a hidden note under his shoes about a meeting with somebody. Okay. But that's about it. And this is room 6. So we don't know who is in the in room 9, but we know that room 9 is a man. So I'll write that down. It looks like 6 is also going to be a man. Yeah, suitcase. There is stuff to read, but I'm gonna open up all this first. There's a suspicious lack of. Is that another letter? Hey, there is another hidden letter. But I was just saying there's a suspicious lack of collectibles, and I feel like I'm missing stuff. This is room 6. I met the fellow staying at the room next to mine. From what I gathered, he was a mathematician or something. I think he told me his name, but I do not quite remember it since I was not really paying attention. He seemed pretty oblivious, so it might be fun to scam him somehow, though I suppose I'm a bit occupied with my other pursuits right now. Which, why any scammer would write that down. Dear Mr. Farley, we are certainly interested in your business proposal. An associate of ours will contact you upon arrival at the next station. Cordially, Alexander Wraithmore. This looks like it was sent to him. I think this is I think this room is Farley. And then the previous room, the one where he was like, I have business. I think that was room 9. So we might be able to assume that room 9 is Alexander. Yeah, I'll just write down Alex Wraith. I think Alex Wraith is in room 9 because he was saying he had business with somebody. Oh yeah, the lack of collectibles is really concerning. Alright, we did have this suitcase here. Dear Mr. Everly, we are most pleased that you have accepted our invitation. Should you have any questions pertaining to your meeting with Lord MK, feel free to send a letter before you board. Sincerely, H.W. Hirschfield. He's the one whose suitcase was stolen. So this is the stolen suitcase. Because there is a suitcase right here. But this doesn't tell us his name. Yeah, I just want to double check that I had the right room. It wasn't... Yeah, it was this one. So 9 had the proposal. Six had their suitcase stolen. So 7. Excuse me, 7 is definitely Everly because his suitcase was stolen. And 6 has the man's suitcase. So this is 5. 5 we've already decided was a man. Oh yes, he's got the wine right in there. That's cute. Ah, there's a key in the shoe. Key to cabin 4. Okay. We finally boarded the train today. The day was otherwise pretty uneventful. I am looking forward to meeting Lord MK eventually, but I hear he is pretty busy, so it might be a few days before I get to sit down and really talk with him. I got to chat with Mr. Hirschfield today. He is certainly a fine fellow. Evidently, he and Lord K have some sort of party planned for tomorrow. I think they are planning on having it at the bar or something. Today, I spoke to the shifty-looking man staying in the room next to mine. I think his name was Isaac something or rather. We did not talk for too long since he seemed to be pretty absent-minded and I did not want to bother him. Okay. So Farley, we decided. So Isaac is his name. Alright, we're going to underline Isaac because we know for certain We're going to underline Mary because we know that's for certain. And we know that's for certain Everly. But we're still looking for a Shelley. And if Mr. Hirschfield was the one who was hosting the party with MK, we actually know Hirschfield's first name too. I think it was like Henry or Harry. Not this one. Okay, so Harry Hirschfield. Or Hirschfeld. Okay, so we know his first name. Whether or not that is important. And now we have the key to cabin 4, which Wyatt was in that man's boot. Oh. There's a note. My dearest wife, I have the backup key to your room hidden in one of my shoes in my room. So if you ever need it, you know where to find— Oh! These two are married. We did not find out his name. Well, that explains the key in the shoe. Alright, so these two will have the same last name. 4 and 5. Dear Mother, William and I boarded the train today. I will probably only be able to send this letter once the train next stops, so do not be surprised if it took a long time to reach you. Anyways, our journey has been going well so far, except for the delay. Based on what I heard, it was caused by an avalanche or something. Fortunately, we are not in too much of a hurry, so it did not bother us too much. I will probably write you again once we reach our destination. Forgive my sister and everyone else back home. Oh, please give my sister and everyone else back home my regards. Your loving daughter, Eleanor. Oh, I see. If Shelley could have been her last name instead of her first name. So it was Miss Shelley. But she was married, so she would no longer be Miss Shelley. She would be Eleanor, followed by the other name, which— is it Harry? It could be Harry. My husband and I finally boarded MK's train today. Evidently, the delay had been caused by an avalanche, which has damaged the train tracks. It took them a few days to fix the tracks because of the isolated location of the train at the time. I did not have much time to get to know the other passengers yet, but they seemed amicable so far at least. What a wonderful surprise! One of the other passengers on this train just so happens to be my childhood friend Albert. How long has it been since I last met him? It must have been over 15 years ago. I was not even married yet back in those days. Well, anyways, we talked for a bit and he told me that he has become a sales consultant for some important company and that he is here on a business trip. We did not talk long, but it was nice to meet him anyhow. Oh, it would be Albert. Albert Everly. But we don't know her or her husband's last name. Unless we assume that this Hirschfield the distinct lack of clothes is very upsetting. Alright, we've gotten into every single room. We do have a few initials. And there's a pendant there, but I don't know if that pendant means anything. Oh, there's a letter right here. Dear Mr. Kingsley, we cordially invite you and your wife on a trip on Lord MK's esteemed luxury train. You can board the train when it next stops at Wilkestone the 11th of February. If you have any questions, please send them our way as soon as possible. Signed, H.W. Hirsch. Okay. Oh, Kinsley! Eleanor Kinsley. Okay. Eleanor Kinsley. Which means his name will also be last name Kinsley. So what I think we know for certain is that room number 9 is A-W. Room 7 will be A-E. Room 6 is I-F. Room 5 and room 4 both end with K, but room 4 has EK. So assuming those things are correct, I could potentially brute force the puzzle solution by simply guessing what his name begins with. But that would require everything else to be correct. Alright, starting with room 9. A-W. M-R. A-E. I-F. And then we'll skip to the bottom and do E-K. Then we'll go back up 1. Get the K in place. Alright, let's work on this backwards then. We will start with room 4. Just to double check my work. Alright, we are fairly confident that Eleanor William. Her husband's name is William. Okay. Let me go put W in and see if... I mean, I did flip through all of them, but... Let me just put that in. Maybe I have to zoom out. I imagine at some point developers gotta get tired of of us trying to brute force puzzles. Okay, so we'll switch this to W. Alright, I am super confident that Eleanor and William Kinsley is correct. So I think EK and WK is for certain correct. Did she say the name of her childhood friend, or did she just say that he was her childhood friend? Let me see real quick if she actually says his name. Albert. I said Albert Everly was in room 7. Albert is not room 7. I don't know if that makes much of a difference since they both begin with A. I think Albert was actually room 9. Yes, Albert is room 9. And we know that for a fact, Mary Roscoe is in room 8. Like, that is undeniable. And then we know for a fact Everly is in 7. That is also undeniable. So what I could do is I mean, they both begin with A, so it doesn't make a difference to swap that around. But the other names we have is an Isaac Farley. So we could swap Farley with Wraith. We could swap that around to do like AF in the beginning and then AW where the F is. That might change things up a bit. AF in the first one, and then where the F is, do a W. Okay, so we know that S is not an option. So we know that for certain her previous last name is not even on the wheel. We know Eleanor Kingsley. I'm very confident. Kinsley. And then we know her husband is William. Because she said her and William showed up. I'm very confident with William Kinsley. So the bottom two are definitely EK and WK. I am like, without a margin of doubt, positive. And then I'm also positive that MR is correct. Yeah, I'm very confident with MR. The only gaps that I have is room 6's full name, the first name of room 7, and the last name of room 9. I think his last name is Farley. So it would be IF. And the problem with that is that means nothing has changed. Oh, there's one. It was under the hat. Yay, I got a collectible. I look in here. More wine. He has a lot of hats. You're Mr. Kinsley. H.W. Hirschfeld. Hirschfeld? That's how we got his last name, Kinsley. Where did I get the name Alex from? Like, now I'm confused where Alex even came from. That's telling me about the lock. Okay, Everly is this room. Number 7. The lady staying in the room next to mine, Miss Roscoe, seems to be pretty interesting. Harry invited me to a drinking party. My suitcase is missing. This is where we got the name Mary from. So hers was pretty simple. Like, it was just those 2 pieces of information to get MR. Miss Shelley was chatting with Arthur. And there has been a theft. Okay, we already got... Where in the world did I get the name Alex from? I think this is where I got the Wraithmore from. Because if he had business interests, then he could have sent a letter to the guy. But this is assuming everything else is accurate. Oh my god. Why did that scare me? This happened the last time the other lock solved too. Like, it freaking jump scared me too. Okay. So, thanks to brute forcing it, we know that the first room was AH. We know his name begins with an H, and we know that Everly's name begins with a B. I don't even have anything written down that could possibly... Yeah, I don't even know where those came from. So maybe they intended for my brute forcing method. But I do want to take a note down whether or not this, just for like lore purposes, maybe. We know that Alexander Wraithmore Esquire, okay, hired by AW. I'm so gonna forget what that means, but... Oh my goodness. That legitimately gave me a jump scare. Alright, we're looking for collectibles. The mechanical conundrum. Alright, well, I will call that this episode. We've made it to the next cart in the train. We've made it to chapter 4. And it's been an hour for me and it's midnight, so cutting the long ending short. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I feel like I did a lot better moving through the train, trying to get out of this mess. So that was definitely positive. So until next time, have a positive day, everyone. Bye-bye.